Close to a decade ago, BMW took a swan dive into the fully electric car pool with the i3, a compact, lightweight hatch that, although long gone from the Australian market, is still in production. It features an exotic carbon passenger cell and is pitched at a niche city-dwelling audience. The decision makers in Munich have decided to draw the curtain on it in mid-2022 because they're moving from the springboard to the high tower. Yep, BMW says it will launch around 12 fully electric models worldwide by 2023, with several of them due to arrive here shortly. And this is the first zero tailpipe emission BMW X model to arrive in Australia, the mid-sized iX3. Like its X3 siblings, it lines up against traditional European SUV rivals. Only this time there's an electric motor rather than a combustion engine under the bonnet. Think Audi e-tron, Jaguar I-Pace and Mercedes-Benz EQC. We've cut a swathe through the urban jungle and stretched its legs on the open road to see how it performs in a range of scenarios. But before we get into the details, this video is split into chapters. Here are the time codes. If there's something you're specifically interested in, you can jump ahead. If you're watching on YouTube, follow the markers in the timeline below. My detailed written review of this car is at the CarsGuide website. But if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share this video with your friends and hit that bell icon so you can stay on top of all our latest videos. Cost of entry to the BMW iX3 Club is just under $115K, which is a match for the high-performance 6-cylinder powered X3 M40i, with the bonkers X3M another $45K above that. For that amount of money, aside from the performance and safety tech that we'll get to shortly, you should rightly expect a healthy standard features list, and the iX3 does well. The full details are in my written review on the site, but the highlights are adaptive LED headlights, adaptive suspension, 20-inch aero alloy wheels, keyless entry and start, an auto tailgate, 3-zone climate control, active cruise, a head-up display, a 12.3-inch digital instrument screen, a 12-inch multimedia touchscreen, electrically adjustable and heated front seats, leather trim, rain-sensing wipers, 16-speaker Harman Kardon audio, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, sat-nav, a panoramic glass roof, wireless smartphone charging and parking assistant. There's heaps more, but you get the idea. BMW even stumps up for a 5-year unlimited use subscription to the ChargeFox network. So that means you can juice up free of charge for the first 5 years, and it's important to note the iX3's range, which is another important factor when it comes to value for money, is on par with its key competitors. So really, any way you cut it, the iX3 is a pretty sharp deal for the dollars. The most noteworthy thing about this car's exterior design is how much it looks like any other BMW X3. No dramatic Hyundai Ioniq 5 style departure from the norm here. You have to have reasonably sharp eyes to spot the details that stand this car apart from its combustion-powered siblings. For example, the signature kidney grille with eye blue highlights remains in place, but more as a single-piece branding decoration than a functional element. And these wheels, which by the way I love, look a lot like others in the BMW catalogue. But closer inspection reveals large, close to flat and closed-in surfaces to help aerodynamic performance. No small contributor to the car's drag coefficient of just 0.29, an outstanding number for an SUV, or any car for that matter. These taillights look broadly similar to any other X3, and these apertures down here look like they're ready to accept a tailpipe, which of course they don't. This entire diffuser panel is about smoothing the airflow as it exits from underneath the car. The interior look and feel is straight out of the current BMW design playbook, with blue highlights here and there to signify the car's electric identity. Classy yet functional, with the big digital screens for instrumentation and multimedia also dialing up the tech factor. These leather-trimmed sports seats feel as good as they look. The Vinaska hide is available in 3 different colours, and there are various no-cost options for the trim elements around the cabin as well. You know, the driver focus, the alignment, details like this stitching on the trim, the attention to detail in terms of the cabin design and execution is apparent. In terms of space, there's plenty of head and shoulder room up front and lots of storage too.
There's a pair of cup holders in the centre console, big door bins with separate sections for large bottles, a decent glove box, and a medium-sized storage cubby which doubles as an armrest between the seats. There's a 12-volt outlet, wireless smartphone charging, and a USB-A socket in the console, as well as a USB-C jack in the centre storage box.
The big multimedia screen is easy to use with a logical progression through the various screens, and they can be accessed via direct touch, or a rotary dialer, or the touchpad on top of it, gesture control, or even voice control.
Move to the back, and again there's heaps of space. Over successive generations, the X3 has quietly crept up in size to match that of the original X5.
Getting in and out of the back is easy thanks to the wide opening door and a decent sized aperture. And I'm sitting behind the driver's seat set for my 183 centimetre position. I've got tons of leg room and toe room and just acres of headroom. Again, in the back here, there are large door bins with a separate section for big bottles. Separate climate control for back seaters is a win, and there are 2 USB-C outlets to keep devices powered up. On top of that, there's a fold-down centre armrest that has a shallow lidded bin in the centre and fold-out cup holders here, which are actually adjustable for large and smaller cups, which is a nice touch.
A relatively low loading height and no lip into the boot space makes life easy. And with the rear seat upright, the iX3 has a capacity of 510 litres, enough to swallow our 3-piece suitcase set or the bulky CarsGuide pram with room to spare. And as long as you have the key with you, the tailgate's hands-free open and close kick function is a welcome addition.
Multiple tie-down anchor points, 12-volt outlet, pop-out hooks, elasticized pockets, all great and very handy. Don't bother looking for a spare of any description though. Your only option is a repair inflator kit. This little hatch underneath the boot floor is for holding recharge cables ×2 and the inflator canister. Under the bonnet, and in fact under this cover, is a current excited synchronous electric motor, single speed auto transmission and all the power electronics in a single housing. It produces 210 kilowatts and 400 newton meters, which is enough to propel the iX3 from 0 to 100 km/h in a fraction under 7 seconds.
The current excited bit means the motor doesn't make use of magnets to induce the rotor, rather the feeding in of electric power. It spins up to a maximum of 17,000 RPM, and BMW says the design means the use of rare earth elements, the mining of which is controversial environmentally, is avoided. The iX3's lithium-ion battery has a capacity of 80 kilowatt hours, which delivers a WLTP rated range of 460 kilometres. Worst case charging scenario is a 1.8 kilowatt AC single-phase domestic connection, which has you staring down the barrel of a 44-hour charge time. But using the latest BMW 3-phase wall box, charge time from 0 to 100% is 7.5 hours. While DC fast charging at a rate of up to 150 kilowatts means 10 to 80% charge in 32 minutes. The charge ports behind the NOT fuel flap are a Type 2 for AC and Type 2 CCS combo for higher powered DC charging. And the car comes with 2 cables covering domestic and public charging.
BMW quotes an official energy consumption figure of just under 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres for the iX3. And in our time with the car, a mix of city, suburban and some highway running, mostly in comfort mode, with the air conditioning on, we averaged 19.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, which is a pretty good effort. And a big contributor to that is the adaptive regenerative braking system constantly feeding energy back into the battery. That's got to be a big factor.
You can also manually select from the 3 levels of regen via the iDrive system, and selecting B amounts to one pedal operation. Plus, there's an open road coasting function. But underneath all that is that complimentary 5-year ChargeFox membership. For reference, the current ChargeFox network includes 1,400 plugs, mainly along the East Coast, Tassie, Adelaide and Perth, with the intention of 5,000 by the end of 2025. That's across standard AC 22 kilowatt, fast 50 kilowatt and ultra-rapid 350 kilowatt units, with all of the latter powered by 100% renewable energy. The term engine tuning would normally lead you to the engine bay rather than the orchestra pit. But believe it or not, according to BMW, the simulated start-stop sound for this car has been designed by Oscar-winning composer Hans Zimmer and BMW sound designer Renzo Vitale. And, by the way, every driving state is accompanied by a matching acoustic pattern, so keep your ears peeled. Yep, there it is. Thanks Hans and Renzo. So let's start off at parking speed. The overhead view, clear reversing camera and clean all-around vision make parking the iX3 pretty straightforward. The steering is light and the distance sensors front and rear aren't too manic, only giving you a shout out when necessary.
BMW quotes 0 to 100 km/h acceleration in 6.8 seconds, which is pretty snappy. You've got 210 kilowatts of power, 400 newton meters of torque, and that torque is available pretty much from step off, and it means no matter where you are, what speed you're going, there's plenty of acceleration available. The nature of current EV tech means you don't have to think about whether it's a dual clutch transmission or a CVT. It's just a single speed auto feeding all of the drive really smoothly to the back wheels. So suspension is struts at the front, 5 links at the rear, with all of the componentry in aluminium for lightweight. You've also got the adaptive suspension. The dampers are able to be adjusted through Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro settings. And the difference, particularly between Sport and Comfort, is quite marked. I must say the nature of the car is that even in Comfort, it's fairly firm. You want to be ready for that. But, you know, overall, it's fine. We have the aircon on at the moment. You might be able to hear it just whirring away in the background. By definition, any electric vehicle is going to be quiet. But this one is so hushed that mega Harman Kardon audio system pretty much has a clean sheet to work from. This dash layout is a classically BMW driver-focused approach. Everything where it should be. And even little things like having Android Auto and Apple CarPlay hands-free just reduces the stress that bit further. The drive unit on the rear wheel sits in a specifically made subframe, and BMW says that the centre of gravity of this car is 7.5 centimetres lower than a conventionally powered X3, and you can certainly feel that the car is planted on the road. You get the sense of, yes, there's a big battery in here and there's some weight moving around, but it points very nicely and dynamically, it's pretty good. The Bridgestone Alenza tyres fitted to this car aren't some kind of eco-focused specials. They're a premium SUV tyre, and they're mixed on this car, a little bit wider at the back than at the front. Not only are they quiet, they're grippy, they're nice and grippy. This car in the corners, it steers nicely, the steering is accurate, there's good road feel, and it's well weighted. The level of regenerative braking in this car is automatically adapted, determines your driving style and the conditions, and will do it all for you. There are also 3 levels available through the iDrive system, and shift the selector over to B, and the regen braking is so firm that it's that one pedal style of driving. Ease off the throttle and the car immediately starts to slow, and most of the time you find yourself just not using the brake pedal at all.
The iX3 hasn't been safety assessed by ANCAP or Euro ANCAP so far, but active crash avoidance tech is impressive, with AEB at the top of the active safety list. It includes pedestrian and cyclist detection as well as a crossroads function. The full details are in my written review on the site, but from there the highlights are active cruise control, lane keeping assist with active side collision prevention, steering and lane control assistant, lane change warning, lane departure warning, front and rear cross traffic alert with brake intervention, rear collision prevention, automatic speed limit assist and evasion assistant.
But if an impact is unavoidable, there are front and side airbags for the driver and front seat passenger, as well as head curtain airbags covering both rows, and a 7th bag for the driver's knee. In the back here, there are 3 top tether points for child seats and child restraints, as well as 2 ISOFIX anchor points in the back. And if there is an impact, there's an emergency function where a call goes back to base, so emergency services are immediately notified.
The iX3 is covered by BMW's 3-year unlimited kilometre warranty, including paintwork, as well as 12-year unlimited kilometre anti-corrosion cover. That main warranty is off the premium market pace now with Audi, Genesis, Jaguar Land Rover, Lexus and Mercedes-Benz at 5 years unlimited kilometres. The battery is warranted for 8 years 160,000 Ks, which is on par with Audi, Jag and Merc, but lagging behind Tesla at 8 years 240,000 kilometres. Service is condition-based, the car telling you when maintenance is required, and a range of service packages are available. The basic plan covering an iX3 for 4 years unlimited kilometres coming in at $1,200, appreciably less than for an equivalent combustion X3, as it should be for a car with far fewer moving parts. For all the details, check my written review on the CarsGuide site.
For much of the time I was driving the iX3, I forgot it was electric, which says as much about the refinement of current combustion engine cars as it does about the recent progress of EVs. But it demonstrates how easy it is to live with a zero tailpipe emissions vehicle, especially one of this calibre. The iX3 represents good value in the premium mid-sized SUV segment, and not just against other EVs. It's quick, comfortable, practical, and recharging is getting easier by the day. I enjoyed driving it, in fact, a lot more than I thought I was going to. Here's my score, and if you want to know how the iX3 got there, go to carsguide.com.au for all the details in my written review. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you can stay on top of all our latest videos. Seht zusammen!